check. Hey, hey, hey. What's up? What's up? How's it going? Got a little confession to make. Hello. Hi there. Okay, just hang on a second. I need to put some stuff out. Hey, if you are tuning in and watching this right now, sorry, I'm a little late coming on on this live stream today, like almost an hour late. I'll explain why in a bit. Okay. All right. Hey there, empty Timothy. Hi, Timothy. How you doing, man? Thanks for saying hi. Glad you were there. Thanks for joining in this little casual, simple live stream, man. All right. So, um, for those of you who follow me, all right, there's no mixed stream tonight. Okay, there hasn't been any mixed stream so far for 2021. I hope to have one scheduled for next week. So in the situations where I don't have the mixed stream live stream sessions, I will always instead, all right, do a live Q&A, this ask me anything session. So it's my commitment to have some sort of engagement, some sort of content for you guys out there who are part of the MixStream community, or anybody who's somehow out there in the internet or the interwebs who's interested in topics related to recording, mixing, mastering, music technology, music business, music theory, even. Okay, and so I do this little engagement for you, lah. All right. So these live Q and A's, I will want to hear questions from you. Okay, now, the purpose of this is so that if you have any questions regarding those topics, just throw it out there. Okay, just write it down in the comments. All right, and I will post it up and then share it with everyone. Okay, and here's the thing: to sweeten the deal, as usual, this is the uh, Project ER Revolution CD album. So the best question of the night, whoever comes out with the best question, okay, is gonna win this CD as a prize. I'll be sending this out to you. Okay, so come, prepare your questions. Okay, best question of the night is gonna walk away with a copy of this CD. I'm gonna send this to you as a prize. Okay. All right, now almost there. We are almost set up. I got one more banner to tweak. Let me just paste, save, and all right. Okay, good. Timothy, where are you from? And have we met? Do I know you? Okay, but thanks again. I do appreciate you coming in and watching the live stream. Okay. All right. Okay. Before that, let me just very quickly do share one more post on the Facebook. There we go. Okay, no, don't work. It don't work that way. It don't work that way. Okay. Looks like I'm gonna go to the Studio 2105 page over here. All right, cool. So I guess 11:02, we can officially begin. Okay, I got my coffee ready. I got my set of questions all ready. I just need to share this out there first. All right. Oh, hi. Timothy says, okay, I'm from Myanmar. I just saw a studio and looking for a music studio to record a song. Want to know the price? Oh, okay, right. This is the first time ever on a live stream where I've got a potential inquiry. Very cool. That's nice, man. thanks for getting in touch, Timothy. Okay, and well, I will get in touch with you. So let me DM you, or you can also just drop me a message on the Studio 2105 page, like actual direct message on it, and I'll get back right to you right away. Okay, I mean after I finish this live stream. But thank you. I have worked on quite a number of singers and projects, right, from your from your home country, from Myanmar. I think I've been sharing a bit. There have been a couple actually, if I recall. The ones that I've been working most frequently are with the Mara version. Okay, maybe I should just share that with you. CT Mara version. Okay, let's look at the one. Look at them, man. They got 1.5k subscribers and 40 videos. Hopefully, you guys can see. Okay, right. Okay, right. Timothy was saying, yeah, I tried to cause Yasmin to ask questions here. You're not right. Okay, you are correct. This is an ask me anything, and you can literally ask me anything. Okay, not a problem. You can all that. But I want to share with you maybe just very quickly some of the projects I've done. I mean, this is the one that I've done frequently, a lot. The one that I was very involved with. So this is actually a contemporary gospel project. So it's done by the some of the Myanmar Christian community here that's residing here in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. So I've known the guys. Jesse, he is their main producer and the one who mostly coordinates, right? So they have a couple of singers and everything. So they released a cover album of mostly contemporary Christian worship songs. They did the first one I think in 2019. Yes, that's 2 years ago already. I still got to get used to the fact that this is now 2021. The brain is still stuck in 2020 mode. Okay, and then they also so that was the one album, and then very recently, okay, they just finished the version of they just finished the album for one of the singers, right? So her name is Mary Kool-Aid. Okay, so there it is. Okay, let me turn it off first because Facebook is very finicky with copyright and audio stuff, so I'll just play the visuals in the back. So she is one of the singers, right? And this girl is amazing, right? She is with the Myanmar community. When I first met her, when the first album when they recorded, she was only 14. I guess she's probably 15, going on to 16 right now. Okay, very young girl, right? She very very talented and amazing voice. Okay, you have to go and check it out, lah. All right, you have to go and check it out on their page to find out. So this was a new one which they just released a couple of days ago on New Year's Day, actually January 1st, 2021. But there's a lot of other stuff as well. During Christmas, obviously, they did some covers of Oh Holy Night. I think the one I shared before was this one. Was it this one? Yes, the version of Oh Holy Night. Okay, so this was done in 2019. Yeah, we recorded this in 2019 and they put it out, right? And in November that year, just in time for that. Whew, how time flies, man! It's already two years. So anyway, Timothy, right? I'll get in touch with you. You can check out the services page. Okay, let me just very quickly type it out. So many of you might be asking questions about the rates and studio rates and services and all that. Actually, very simple. It's all on the Facebook page, the services page. So let me just share that with you. Here you go. This is the one. www.face. Oh no, I misspelled it. Facecook. Hey, that could be a new social social website, social platform for online chefs. Face Cook. It's not Face Cook. It's Facebook. Okay, all right. Oh my goodness. Okay, there we go. Okay, maybe let me just create the banner. Then you will see. It's easier. So it will be up here in a second. Okay. So even though you can see my Facebook page, you just click, but sometimes people will miss the services tab. So I guess let me put this out so that it's easier to see lah. Okay, so here you go. All right. So go to facebook.com/studio2105/services for a full list, right, of the rates and of the different kind of services that we offer, right? And there's always more to come. We always add a little bit more and as time goes. Sometimes we will update it as well. But that gives you a good idea of what I do, what involves what I do here at Studio 2105 lah. So we not only do we rent out the studio for recording sessions, but even going into full production, we do post production work as well, voiceover work, um, many stuff. Okay, I don't want to bore you guys with it. Okay, all right. Okay, now, cool. Now we're coming up to 11:10. Let me go back to my channel page first. Now, if you are new to the channel, oh, you can hear the background music playing right now. Okay, let me just mute it. Okay, because otherwise it will be a little bit noisy and annoying in the back. Okay, right. And Timothy says, "Oh, Timothy says I know her. That's amazing. So do you know Jesse as well?" Jesse, his name is Jesse Zalta. Sometimes you will find him. Sometimes Jesse will be lurking around and liking my videos. What so very cool. Do you know Jesse? Because he's the one that produces and coordinates all the recording sessions. Um, Besides that, what a small world, man. Okay, well, maybe she's famous. I've been telling people, hey, we should sign up. Somebody here should give Mary like a recording contract and get her to sing some English songs, because she's a very talented girl, right, for someone a young age. All right, okay, and and Timothy says, all Myanmar and Malaysia all know me too. Haha, all right. Very cool, man. All right, sure. He dropped me a little friend request later as well on my personal page so I can add you and we can keep in touch, okay? All right. So anyway, this live stream is gonna go on for usually I stream for about 2 hours on a Friday night. Now, for you, those of you who may be a little bit eagle-eyed and might be noticing the time on the clock. It's actually 11. You're like wondering, JD, don't you usually start the Ask Me Anything sessions and on the icon, the graphic which I put there, it says 10 p.m. But JD, why it's 11 p.m. now? So here's a little confession, okay? A little confession to make. I started late. I was late, okay? All right. So I was already actually I've been in the studio here pretty much the whole day, the entire afternoon, working on stuff. I was finishing up mixes, had a bit of dinner as well. But one thing was that I was already in the whole day. I was really, really, really sleepy, right? In fact, in the afternoon, evening, I was sleepy already. So what happened was I decided to take a power nap. So power nap, right, turned out to be a little bit more than a nap lah. So it turns out like when I woke up, I overslept to be honest. Okay, so I kind of overslept beyond 10 o'clock, and then I saw it's like, oh shoot, it's like already 10:30, 10:35. So I quickly got everything ready and set everything up, and then here I am starting an hour late. but hopefully not hopefully not an hour short. Okay, right, all right, okay. So okay, let me just put it out on here because I just need to put it out on my personal page for a second. Okay. So what a small world, man. Thanks again, Timothy, for definitely getting in touch, and we will talk too. All right. All right. Sorry, I'm late to the live stream. Sorry, I'm late to the live stream. Going live now and post. There we go. Posting. Let's see, huh? Shamsul. Hi, Shamsul. Hi. Sleep too much can blur yourself, mate. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. The problem is that I already kind of set my alarm and everything, but to be honest, I must have been just way too tired. This week has been quite busy as well. Now, even though there's no episode for MixStream last week and this week, there's actually been quite a number of mixing projects. So I've been mixing a lot, right? So um, been up actually since the morning. Yes, and actually I've been up since yesterday. I was working and I actually stayed up all the way until 9 a.m. this morning. 9 a.m. this morning. Took a quick. Okay, that's why I'm so sleepy. You see, I only took a I only took a 1.5 hour sleep, quick power nap in the morning, and then I didn't sleep for the rest of the day. So just now, what was supposed to be a 35-minute power nap ended up ended up about 2 hours, I guess. Oh man, so sorry guys. All right, my apologies, and I want to confess the truth and the honest truth of what happened. Okay, so all right, Azrul has just said hi. Okay, all right, he left a Facebook love. And Falik, hey Falik, how's hey do say hi, man, if you are in the watching this. So I know that you're there. How is the situation? I know you're in JB. Is JB badly affected by floods or anything like that? Because of the rainy weather that's been going around. I guess we all know the situation. I hope that everyone out there, please stay safe. I know the whole situation with COVID and all that, and now it's made compounded worse by the fact of the heavy rain and the flooding. I just hope that everyone out there is staying safe. I hope that everyone out there is being taking good care, be careful of themselves lah. I know it's tough, I know it's hard, and my heart goes out to you. Okay, right. So anyway, very quickly, so what happens, the live Q&A video, also what I do is I also record this and I will put this up on my YouTube as well. So if you are watching this in a replay later, you might watch it there. On You can watch it on YouTube lah. Okay, very cool. So let's see who else has given a. Okay, let's moving on. So if you are watching this for the first time and you are brand new joining on this live stream, I do go and check it out. This is my YouTube page, as I show right here. Like you can see in the share screen here. This is the Studio 2105 direct access MixStream page. So if you haven't done so, if you're not a subscriber, please go on and head on down and become a subscriber. Okay, right? Go ahead and click on the big red subscribe button here. Okay, right. So I've got lots of videos on the content on this channel. So these are, you can see, these are so many videos that I've already put. So what I do is that usually on Fridays, like today Friday night, I will do a live stream mixing session. I usually take a project which I'm working with or I'm working on, and I will mix it live right on the channel, right? So you can get to watch my mixing process. Is literally like an over the shoulder, right? Like being right here in the studio next to me and watching how the mixing process goes from start to finish. So all of those are all of those are in the MixStream episodes. I think the most recent one was 3 weeks ago, so last month, where I did actually no, the last one was 2 weeks ago, where I mixed the tracks Galanya by Color Heart. And so lots more other videos. Every Wednesday I do the weekly update Wednesdays, right? So that is also a kind of an update and news information for everyone, for all the viewers and everyone who subscribers to the channel. I also answer questions during the weekly update Wednesday session. I get your questions, right? Just like what I'm doing here right now. But on the Wednesdays, I get to explain it in a little bit more detail and a little bit more longer formula. Sometimes I will put in a little bit of throw in a little bit of graphics as well to sort of explain the points, or to sort of explain um, to try to answer your questions. So tonight, all right, I will be trying to answer any of the questions that you have to the best of my ability, right? Because is this spontaneously on the top of my head. But if it comes to a point, if it comes to a point of that I can't answer it, or if I feel that the question might be a good question, I'll sometimes reserve it and keep it for later lah. And but I'll definitely answer it one. Okay, Shamsul said mixing new album, perhaps. All right. Okay. Cool. No, not really. I'm mixing a lot of stuff from different singers, right? Different projects. There's always many different projects going on here, and for different, because obviously we work for different clients. You see, there's some corporate stuff going on as well. Corporate songs, commercials, some song independent, some band solo artists, right? And so all of it's been happening lah. Okay, so I think now, if I just quickly take a look at my main mix PC, I think I have how many here? One, two, three. I think recently did three. Da, 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 4, 5. Oh boy, that's a lot. 6, 7. Within this few 1 or 2 weeks, I have like 8 or 9 songs to mixing projects to do. So yeah, that's why I've been super busy. I think today, the whole of today, I only got like about maybe 3-4 hours of sleep. That's why, right? Apologies. That's why this live stream started a little bit late. Okay, because I overslept. I thought, right? Okay, cool. So do check it out, okay? The YouTube channel, I really appreciate it if you can become a subscriber. Head on down to this page, okay? youtube.com/studio2105. All right, do check it out. All right. So now, last week, what happened was that I was in the process of answering halfway through not even halfway, actually, barely even 1/4 of the way, right, of answering questions from Ben, right? So as the title goes, as it shows here, right, Ask Me Anything 17, Answering Ben's Questions Part 2. So you must be wondering, who is Ben? Why is this Ben guy so special that he gets 2 episodes of Ask Me Anything dedicated to him? Okay, here it goes, right? So Ben actually was one of the students from the Direct Access 1.0 music production workshop, right? So the Direct Access 1.0, this music production workshop is actually an annual event. It's an event that I do every year. So it's an actual hands-on physical event. So what happens during the workshop is that I take a song from a local artist. Usually it's a band, but sometimes I'll open up even for local, even for solo singer-songwriters as well, as long as you have a band or musicians to back you up. So I take that song and I bring them as part of the workshop. I will produce, record, mix, and master the whole song. And during the workshop, right, participants, the students will get to experience. They get to experience the production process because I take it right from this initial demo, right from the scratch, the rough demo, all the way. We record the drums on week one, then week two we record bass, and week three we record guitars, week four vocals, then week five we go to mixing, and then week six we do mastering. So it's a 6 week long program that we do every weekend, that I do every weekend, and the participants get to watch. So there is hands-on classes, there is actual live demonstrations. You can watch and sit in the session and see if for real life how it's done inside the studio. So usually this workshop is only kind of limited only to the on the ground participants, right? So they those that have uh, submitted joined it. But in 2020, which was recently in September and October, right across the space of 6 weeks, I actually this year 2021, I actually did a I actually got a camera crew, right? A couple of cameras, and recorded and filmed the whole thing, right? So let's check out this little playlist that I have over here. So everything is already all arranged in playlists already. So this one, Direct Access 1.0 playlist. Okay. So all right. So we have many videos in this playlist. 20 plus videos, 26 videos actually. Okay. And every video, right, is actually footage from the workshop itself. So usually, you have to sign up, and pay for the course fee and attend the workshop. But now I put it out there for free, okay, 100% for free, so you can check out all the videos in this playlist, okay. All right. So usually you have to pay to attend the workshop, but this time it's free. Okay, so go and check it out. Okay, all right, it's on my YouTube channel. Subscribe and just watch the playlist if you want to know a little bit more. So Ben was one of the students of the Direct Access 1.0 music production workshop. So what happened was, okay, let me just select another video here. Okay, let's maybe go with, where is the drum recording? Drum recording, and let's see. No, this is post production techniques. Drum recording. Where is the drum recording? Okay. It's not going in order. Oh, okay, it's up here. That's why. Here we go. Recording techniques. So, yep, these are some of the videos as well that includes recording techniques. And here, this video here, I'm demonstrating how I mic up and how I record drums. So one by one, I walk the participants and the students through the recording process. And you get to watch what the mics I use, how I position them, the rationale between positioning the different types of stereo miking for the overheads, room mics, and all that. Okay, so that's how it goes. Okay, very cool. All right. So Ben, as I said, all right, I digress. I go back to what I was saying. So Ben was one of the students, and at the end of the workshop, he actually gave a list of questions. So I usually do a Q&A, but his list of questions was so extensive. Right, first time ever, he sent me a list of 25 questions for me to answer. So I decided that I might as well sort of dedicate a special, maybe either a live stream or a video to answer all of his questions. So all right, now I'm going to go straight into answering these questions because there's a lot to do, to go. But here goes again. But if you are watching this, if you have a question on your mind and you want, and it's a burning question that you want to ask me about, okay, just drop it in the comments, and then I will definitely take a look at it and try and answer it right there, then for you, okay. Now this platform, my little comment section also is it's an open platform for everyone. If you want to share stuff with me, for example, you want to share your own music, maybe you've been working on some new things, or you have a video somewhere on YouTube to share. Hey, don't be shy, man. Feel free to just post it up and share it. Okay, not a problem, right? Okay, we're open. This platform is for everyone to share, their music, share our knowledge together. Okay, here we go. So without further ado, let's get into answering Ben's questions, okay? Oh, by the way, Ben, you know, some of the students for Ben, right? Your book will be coming out to you soon, right? This is part of the prize that you won. Hazlan also, these prizes are also coming your way real soon now. Okay, be patient. Okay. Okay. Farrell, boy Farrell said left a like as well. Thank you very much, Farrell. Boy Farrell. Okay. Right. Do say hi. I wanna hear from you in the comments. I want to know how you're doing. Okay. So if you put your questions, or put your comments there, I will share this so everyone can see. Okay, let's look at right. Let's go to quickly question number 7. Okay, without further ado, shall we get into the questions? Okay. I got about an hour and a half to try and answer. Hopefully, I can answer all the remaining how many? 6 remaining 18 questions. I think some of them should be pretty fast and pretty easy. All right. Okay, so question number 7. Okay, so in some audio files shown in the DAW, some had 2 waveforms, one on top of the other, and some had only one. Why? Okay, very easy. Okay, the ones with one single waveform, those are mono files. Those with 2, those are stereo files. Okay, so super easy. Okay, now let's go again to next question really quick. Copy. Let me just paste it up so that you can see. So question number 8. All right, here we go. So question number 8. Why is it that in the DAW, everything is represented from negative decibels from to 0 to 12? Okay. While in real, okay, can't see. Oh, while in real life, things go up to 100 plus dB. Okay, right. Good question. Let me just post up the question again. While in real life, save. Okay, so this is the complete question. Okay, so in a DW, right, everything is represented from negative decibels, right, negative dB values, while in real life things go up to 100 plus dB. Okay, very good question. And here is where a lot of people go always mistaken and get confused. Now, the dB is a unit, right? dB short for decibel, right? So it's a unit that we always refer and you always hear, especially if you're talking about music and audio, live sound and all that. Okay, but one thing that you do not that you not know that decibel here, it is actually a relative value. It is not an absolute value. Okay, so that means that there always must be a reference. There must always be a reference to something one. So now, in a real life situation, right? Okay, in a real life outdoors, a normal conversation when you're talking to someone, okay, the decibel, the sounds that you hear in your everyday in your life that your ears pick up is measured what we call sound pressure level, or SPL. Okay, so that's very important, right? SPL, sound pressure level. That's how loud, right? When you hear a sound coming from a loudspeaker or or coming from the environment around you. So, for example, a normal conversation between you and me is relatively about 60 dB, 60 to 70 dB. If you go to a quiet library, it can be as quiet as maybe about 40 dB. Now, if you go to the roadside, a busy roadside, it can go up to about 90 to 100 dB. You go to a rock concert, it can be 110 dB, and all the way to the extreme end, right? If you are in front of a, let's say, a jet engine, right, from a jet aircraft that's taking off, that can be 150 plus dB. That one, right, is beyond the threshold of pain already. You need to hearing protection. So that is called dB SPL. So it is a unit, right? It is a unit of decibels reference to sound pressure level in real life. Okay. So now in the DAW, inside the DAW, it is represented by digital audio. It's a different scale altogether, right? In digital audio, it uses the scale which we refer to as dBFS, right? So this is decibels, right, relative to full scale. And why is it full scale and everything? Now, actually, again, I've already explained there's actually a video inside the Direct Access Music 1.0 workshop, okay? Ben, how come you ask this question? Because I actually covered it during the workshop. Okay, never mind, okay? Maybe you want me to sort of refresh it again. Let's go, and I will share this video with you. Let's look for it. Let's look for it. Okay, how do we see edit in? Okay, direct access. Okay, let me just look for it. Okay, I think I go back to the playlist where it's kind of easier to see. So 2105 view full playlist. Okay, there it is. It's a lot easier to see here. There we go. This is the full playlist. Okay, so where you would want to go and check is this episode, okay? This video, module number 11, okay? So module 11 is metering and operating levels. Let me share this with you. So go and revise that, okay? This is where the answers you will find, okay? Reference to metering and operating levels, because it's two different things. So in digital, right, it's in negative values, because in the dBFS scale, right, it goes only all the way up to 0 maximum. Beyond that is what we call you get clipping, you get digital distortion, right? Because this is behind digital audio theory, okay? Like the theory of digital audio, it can only accommodate, right, up to a certain degree of word length and within the certain dynamic range of the system. So things like dynamic range, okay, the bit depth, all that has got to do with it. So, right, check out this this module instead, okay? Metering and operating levels. Okay, cool. We should move on to the next question then, right? So answers are all there. Okay, so question number 9, here goes. Save the question, and here we go. So, number 9, during the workshop, you say that mastering needs accurate acoustics. What about using headphones for mastering? Is good acoustics still needed? Okay, right. So, headphones, okay. There is now, generally speaking, I'll straight away tell you, right? Most professional mixing and mastering engineers will pretty much tell you the same thing, that headphones are good for referencing and for double checking. It's good to for you to sort of double check and see how the mixes translate inside the headphones, but they are not the ideal method, right, for mixing or mastering. Now, the reason why, again, there is another video for it. Yeah, I have so many videos that I've covered before. So let's search for inside it headphones. This video here, so you should definitely check this video out, right? So I did one. This is weekly update Wednesday number 3, all the way in April 2020, man. So here, this is where I tackle the question of mixing. I put this in the context of mixing, but this will also be applicable to mastering as well. Okay, so with headphones, all right, one thing that is why mixing on speakers is still superior to mixing on headphones is the matter of translation. So the thing is that with headphones, our human hearing is very dependent on two things. Our stereo, our natural way of hearing is dependent on interactions between the left and right ear. It's not the same thing, right? We can tell things from the left and right based on what we call ILDs, interaural level differences. That means the differences between the sound level that's arriving from our left ear and our right ear, and also interaural time differences, two things, ITDs. So this is the time difference between a sound that's arriving from our right ear and left ear. Now, I've kind of explained it in this video as well, so the answer is there. I'm not gonna go into length, so you can go and check out that video. Okay, right? Why mixing and mastering is still best to be done on a pair of monitor speakers. Now, having said that, technology has kind of come quite a long way, and there are now some modeling software and modeling plugins that can also emulate how, because on headphones, when you're listening on headphones like this, you block out the left ear does not hear what the right ear is hearing. You are directly getting the direct signal onto your left and or right ear without all the above mentioned interaural time and interaural level differences. So things inside your stereo image is I would describe it as it's unnecessarily wide. So the problem is translation. That is actually the issue why. Okay. Um if you mix something inside the headphones, your panning might be it might sound very very wide to you. If you pan something hard left, it sounds really really wide hard left to on your headphones. So you might feel that, oh, it sounds too wide, and then you kind of be a little bit conservative. So translation will be one of the problems that you will encounter lah. Okay. So but again, having said that, there are a lot of software out there. There is SonarWorks, okay, that help to sort of SonarWorks headphones that can help to calibrate headphones. But they're more of calibration, not really dealing with the issues of not dealing with the problem of the interaural time differences. Those are solved by some of the newest plugins out there. Waves has their Abbey Road studio emulation. Slate Audio has just released their VSX headphones. So these are now having the technology to replicate and to emulate and simulate how it is to be listening and mixing on monitor speakers, but translating onto headphones. So these are new. Now, I personally have no experience on it, but you definitely can go and check out all of these different, software and plugins if you're going to be working, because they realize that nowadays a lot of people are going to be on the go. People are mobile, or people are working from homes, especially now. Some places in some countries have much more serious and severe lockdowns than Malaysia. So yeah, so that's why lah. Okay, so in the end, look, if it's getting better, technology is getting better now that you can work increasingly more and more on headphones. But generally speaking, for most professional mixing and mastering engineers, there, mixing on speakers is still the preferred choice and the better choice. It's not because to say that it's better or not. It's just because translation is better. And translation here means that your mix or your master will sound good and sound right across as many other different kind of speaker systems as well. If I mix on the headphones alone, I can make it to sound good here to me on the headphones, but there is a possibility that it is not going to sound good anywhere on a different system lah. Okay, but your means may vary. Okay, so give it out. It's always a personal thing. Right. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's go to the next question very quickly. Go to number 10. Now we're going to try to finish all of it. Okay, let's see. And this is also another great question. So, your professional mixer is also a professional mastering engineer. Should he do the mastering himself, or should he have a new pair of ears to do it? All right, okay. For this, again, I have also a video for this. Okay, master. Let's see. And this is on episode 6, right? Which says weekly update Wednesday number 6. What headphones should I get? Should I master my own mixers? Okay, so let me just fast forward to it. So this is my answer. Okay. All right. So this was again a question that actually popped out, and that was that I got. It was a question. So is it wrong to master your own mixers? So the short of it is that no, it's not wrong, right? It is not wrong. But there's still a reason if you go and look at all the album covers and other credit liners for all the top hit songs and everything, you always see that the mixing and mastering engineer are two different people. Okay, so I'm not going to go into a long answer into why. Okay, but mainly speaking, right? Mainly speaking, why even the top mixing engineers, right, in the US and in the West, still in the end send it for mastering engineer, is because the mastering engineer will have way more experience in dealing with the mastering process, much more better equipment. They have the right tool, they have the right gear, they have the right knowledge and experience of doing the mastering work. So it's always better to send to a mastering engineer. So right, it's in that video. Go and check it out. Okay, weekly update Wednesday number 6. Okay, so check it out. It's inside this video. So a lot of these questions actually I really have the answer for them, which I've covered before, because these are very commonly asked question. Okay, let's go on. Is it question 11? Let's move on. But hey, in the meantime, while if you're watching this, if you have questions, feel free to just jump in and throw your question, and I will answer, and I will get to it as well. Okay, doesn't mean that if I'm answering, I'm only just going to cover Ben's questions tonight. 11. What does it mean when the studio producer says they are working on a project? What does project usually mean? How many songs in a project? Okay, a project is a project. It is a piece of work that you've been hired to do lah. A project could be one song, it could be a single, it could be an EP. 4 or 5 songs. It could be an album. So that's the answer. Okay, right? When you work on a project, means it's just a particular job that you are working on lah. Okay, let's move on. Okay, right. So this question is regarding drums, regarding drum recording. Great, awesome. So number 12, let me post it up so that you all can see it. Okay. Number 12, can room ambience mics replace overheads for drum recording? And my answer is yes, it actually can. All right, it actually can. There have been times, there have been a couple of times as well where I have used the room mics left and right as kind of my main sort of a stereo overall kit image for the drum kit. So it is always just a reference, it is always just a mics are actually what we call points of collection. So be it overhead, a standard XY or a space pair overhead, right, on top of a drum kit, above the drum kit, or even the front. It's just a matter of perspective of how you are listening and how you're looking at it. So there's nothing wrong. You can also do a pair of stereo mics behind the shoulder of a drummer if you want it to sound like as if it's really from where the drummer is seated. You can always put a pair of mics there as well. So the answer is yes. Okay, right. They can definitely be used, right, for that as well. Okay, let's move on. And next question, number 13. Hey, we're doing pretty good actually. I think we might be able to finish all remaining questions. So number 13. Let me take a quick sip of it first. Yeah, wait. Thank you again, everyone who's watching this. I'm answering mostly Ben's questions right now, but if you have questions, if you're watching this, right, feel free to just jump in with your comments. Okay, I would love to hear from you as well. Okay, so let me take a sip. All right, so this is good old kopi o ikat tepi. Okay, kurang manis. Okay, now the problem is if we're drinking this, I'm not going to be able to sleep the whole night until next morning again. Oh, my sleeping schedule is really all weird and messed up. I can only sleep only maximum 4 to 5 hours at a go, and then after that I will just wake up. This is all part and parcel of growing old, I guess. So only very very rarely on not say rarely lah, only on certain occasions where I really have a full day or free time off, then I'll probably get my good 7-8 hours of sleep. But it's weird, man. It's I for the past year or so I've only been able to sleep 4 to 5 hours at most. Okay, so here we go. So this is question 13. Okay, let's continue where we left off. Are there any sonic differences between playback of a software instrument to MIDI versus a bounce version of a MIDI track using the same software instrument? Sonic differences? Answer is no. There is no sonic difference. Okay. Now, if you were to do, I would argue it would be worth trying, right? Maybe I'll do. I should experiment and do it. Okay. Um, Now, if you were to really do a blind A/B test between, let's say, right, between one that is being played back through the VST, the VST instrument, and number two, the bounced audio track. We'll try and do an experiment. I'll probably do a little video experiment and do it and see, whether the two actually null each other or not lah, right? So what we do is we invert the phase of one of it, and if they are exactly identical, right, should be hearing perfect silence. You should be hearing absolute silence because they, right, will be canceling each other out. If they're out of phase, their phase is 180 degrees out of phase out of each other, right? They will cancel each other out. But if there is no difference as well, if there is any differences, it's really really not worth agonizing over lah. So that's my answer. Okay, so no difference. The only reason why we would bounce it down, that I would personally bounce it down to audio, is because the MIDI instrument, the VST instrument, if you are running it during your mix session, it takes up resources, right? Because it is using up RAM, and if you are using a lot of VST sample libraries, it can also be taking up bandwidth because of the from your hard disk. So it can strain, it can be a little bit straining on the computer's resources lah. So if the situation comes, right, I just bounce it down, right, to an audio track. Now there's another benefit to bouncing it down to an exporting it as an audio track as well. What if in the future that particular VSC, maybe due to software upgrades, operating software updates, and everything, then suddenly that particular, especially those who are, our friends who are in the Mac world, every time Mac OS does a new update, suddenly all their plugins and everything cannot work until the developers, update the version. So that really really sucks lah. That doesn't happen with PC, I think. Okay, anyway, so that's another reason why, because if some kind of software update happens, then how if your VSTs and software instrument is not compatible with the new software update, then your project gets stuck, right? You can't run the project, the either the at the very least the VST instrument won't run, or the worst case scenario, you can't even open the project as well. Okay, so that is one of the reasons why lah. Okay, moving on. Let's go to the next question. Hey, thank you everyone for leaving the like there. Hey, Joshua Tay, thanks Joshua, Stephanie Lim, Raja Muhammad Amiruddin. Hey guys, all of you are watching this and leaving the likes but not saying hi in the comments, man. Oh, so sad. So sad. You don't want to interact, Okay, never mind. Let's move on. Okay, let's go to number 14 and let's paste it. Save. Here we go. So, Ben also asked, when recording a song, is it better to record in segments or record the whole thing at once? Well, there is no right, no wrong. If you want to record in sections, we want to just work on the intro and verse. You want to work on the first chorus alone. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly okay. You want to record the whole thing as in one complete take, also can. It depends on the musician. It all depends on the vibe and what you are getting, what you are achieving. Now if you can get now if you're working with very very good musicians and good performance, then hey, try to record the whole thing at once, okay? Because sometimes the entire performance, when it's done in a single take, you have a very natural vibe and a very, very natural build up. This is especially when I work with the very very good session players, because they know how to build up the song, how to build what parts to play to sort of bring the song up dynamically and all that. But if you have someone who's not so experienced, they need to work on shorter bits, shorter segments. That's also perfectly fine as well. It depends on your style and whatever the artist needs, whatever the musician needs, whatever the project needs. So be flexible, okay? Both methods work. Okay, so let's go to number 15. Okay, this is a good question as well. Okay, question 15. Let me paste it out. Okay. So it looks like the question is too long. Okay, next time I got to edit it. Okay, I have to edit. Okay, let's go to part one first. Okay, all right. Part one shows this. So it says, I remember during the workshop when you talk about drums, I experienced of receiving drum. I have the experience of receiving drum tracks where the cymbals were cut off and they didn't let it ring right before the song ends. Okay, so the second half of question, Ben was saying, right? So the advice was to layer another sample of cymbals on top. How do you know what type of cymbals to choose to layer so it sounds realistic? Okay, now, good question. So this is more of a technical thing. When you're recording stuff, right? Especially at the tail end, it's a common mistake, not only in drums but even on any instruments that have some kind of sustain, like bass guitar, acoustic electric guitars. The mistake that happens during a recording is that during the last note, da, 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 dang, dang. So the note is sustaining, the cymbals are ringing and sustaining, and then not 1 2 second, oh, you go and stop, they go and press stop recording already, but the sound has not fully decayed and died off yet. So what happens, it sounds like it got cut off. So it's a common mistake that happens quite often. I hear that sometimes, right, on files, on tracks that get sent to me. So the proper thing, let's deal with what we should actually do lah, right? Let's not, instead of trying to fix these kind of issues, let's try to prevent them from happening in the first place. So when you're recording and if you reach the end of the song for drums, for example, dun, 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 bish, okay, let it ring, let the cymbals ring, let the cymbals resonate for until it really really dies off. Then you can stop the recording, okay. Then later on, you can always just shorten, you can always edit it, and you can fade it out, right, to whatever the appropriate length is. You want it to be a shorter length, then you just edit it to a shorter length. Same goes with the sustain from instruments like piano, guitars, and all that. Don't cut it off too soon, okay? Right? Let it ring. Tell the player as well, okay? Just let that last note ring, okay? Ring until it's silent or almost silent. Then you stop recording. You can always chop it out and fade it out and control. You have much better control, right, in editing over the actual length and the and envelope of how the decay goes later on when you edit. But if you cut it too short, you're like, it's no choice, you were left with a short ring, and then sometimes, as I explained, it can sound like it's been cut off. It's very unnatural. So the solution I was suggesting is that you can use a sample to layer on top of it. Now, again, going back to preventive measures. So hopefully it's actually a good idea and a good habit when you're recording drums, right? At the end of the session, or sometimes at the beginning, right? Either beginning or the end, to ask the drummer and to play the different parts of the drum kit and record those. So get a sample of the kick drum, record it, get some samples of the snare drum, different velocities, okay? Toms I usually don't bother because I don't really need to feel that I need to, but you can do that as well. And of course, obviously, get him to record a sample of the cymbals or when they crash. Maybe the individual cymbal, the left cymbal crash one, maybe the right cymbal crash one, get a sample of the cymbals, record it, so that you have the exact same sound which you can reuse in the mix. You can always layer it back with the exact same samples. Now, so you talk about layering samples. It's not too it's not a very hard process. Just look for just find a cymbal sound which complements it sounds right. Okay, so obviously you will want something that sounds similar. You may not be able to get 100%, but if you can get close to it, it's good lah. Okay, so that is my answer to that question. Okay, if you find this yourself in this kind of a situation. Okay, okay, so this is actually two. I would lump the next two questions together in one go. 16 and 17. Okay, here we go. So 16 goes, what does monitoring mean? 17, what does signal path mean? Okay, all right. Very, very, very simple. Actually, let me just quickly look for this page first. Okay, audio glossary terms. It should be somewhere on the. Yeah, okay, all right, cool, cool, cool. There it is. Is it also in the AES website? Let me look at it. Let's see, is it in there? IABM glossary. Okay, let me just check it out. Oh, hello. Oh, okay. It's not going to that page, for example, for some weird reason. Okay, here we go. Okay, it doesn't seem to be going to this third page. Okay, never mind. There's two here, right? So I suggest that you can actually go and check out, right? Right. So okay, let's get on. I'll give you my answer first. Monitoring is really simple. Monitoring means how do I keep it a little simpler? Okay, so uh, monitoring means you are hearing, right? Hearing what is number one either being recorded or two being played back, right? So monitoring is can be as me as a producer, as an engineer or a musician, I can be sitting here in the chair in the control room and monitoring the playback and monitoring the recording from the speakers. I could also be a singer or a musician outside in the live room listening to it and monitoring on headphones. And then if you are on stage, right, you can be listening back, monitoring to what you are playing through monitor wedges, the floor monitors down at the stage, sometimes side fields, and then nowadays, of course, with your in-ear monitors. So that's what monitoring means, right? It's being able to listen back and to hear accurately, hopefully, right, as accurate as possible, what's being played back, or what's being recorded, okay, or what's being performed. So signal path, right? Let's move on. 17. What does signal path mean? Signal path here means, well, it means the signal flow coming from the source, okay, into the ultimately to wherever it goes lah, right? So a common signal path, right, in an audio system would be firstly from the source, let's say a vocal. So the signal is coming firstly from the vocalist, going to the microphone goes into the microphone cable, and it goes to a microphone preamp. Then from a preamp, it will go to um, it will go to be line level. You will go through a mixer, or we go to an audio interface, or any kind of outboard gear where it's processed, where it's mixed, where it's balanced. You EQ, you add effects whatsoever. Then it's output again to the next thing, to loudspeakers, to either monitor speakers, headphones, or whatsoever. So that's signal path, right? So the ability to the skill of sort of knowing and identifying the signal path is actually very, very important. And this is also, again, another topic which I cover in my Direct Access 1.0 music production workshop. So check it out, this one, okay? This video here. Uh, This is number 17, where I talk about signal flow and interconnection. Okay. Da-da-da. Here we go. There, this one. Okay. So signal flow and interconnect. So this is on my week 3 module 10. So this is the module 10. So again, if you haven't already, go and check out right on my YouTube channel. That is where all the videos for the direct access one for music workshop is there. So monitoring and the signal path, right? The explanation of what signal path and signal flow is there as well. And here we go. We got some comments here. All right. Stephanie, hi. Stephanie Lim says hi. Hi there, Stephanie. Thank you for joining and thanks for watching me. Right, thanks for watching this little channel of this little program over here. Okay, and Stephanie says, happy to discover your channel here. Thanks for the informative sharing. Okay, no, thank you very much. Okay, I'm very happy that you have come on board to just come and check out this little video that I'm doing. Okay, so usually on a Friday nights like this, I will be doing a mixing live stream, as I kind of explained earlier, where I usually showcase and I demonstrate how I actually mix a song from the start to the finish. But in a place when there is no MixStream, I do this instead. I do a they ask me anything session, ask me anything live Q&A. So if you got any questions, Stephanie, all right, or anybody out there who's watching this, okay, leave your questions down in the comments. I'll try and answer them to the best as possible. And all right, to sweeten the deal, the best question, whoever who's watching this and viewing this live right now, all right, if I will go through your questions, and the best question at the end of the night wins a prize. Okay, so this prize is this CD over here, the Project ER Revolution. This is one of my side project bands which I did. This is super limited edition, the last ever physical copies that are in existence. So the best question of the night, right, will win a special prize. Okay, right. So Stephanie also says, wow, good idea. Okay, which one? Was I talking about the cymbals? The one part about the cymbal part. Okay. Hopefully that's what you're referring to. But thank you very much. Okay. Right. For every one of you who's watching this, okay. Timothy, I don't know whether are you still here or not. Shamsul and Stephanie. Okay. So far, I only got the comments from you three guys. So a couple of other people are watching this, but keeping quiet, I suppose. It's okay. Don't be shy, okay? Say hi in the comments. I will post it up for you so that everyone will know and can say hi to you as well, okay? Right. Stephanie Lim said, yep, okay, right, okay, cool. Right, so do check out if you haven't done so, all right, on the channel, my YouTube channel. A lot of other content, some instructional tutorial videos, and all the different stuff that I've done, okay? It's youtube.com/studio2105, okay? Do click on becoming a subscriber, okay? Thank you very much. All right, moving on to Ben's questions. Oh, let's go to question number 18. Let me put it up. Okay. Right, okay, this one, this is also another long question where inside my streaming platform software, it can't display the entire length. So let me find the correct setting for the vocalist. Okay, right. So this is what Ben's question goes. Okay, let me just copy this so that you can see it. And there we go. Here it is. I have to shorten the question a little bit. So question number 18 goes like, in one of the modules, it said that we set up all the instrument mics, etc. Right before the vocalist, before the musician arrives. How do you choose the correct mic and find the correct setting for the vocalist without sound check? Oh, okay, right. Well, if you are in a small-ish kind of a studio like mine, or even a home studio, well, then you just put out whatever mics you have. Like, you don't really have much of a choice. But if you ever do get an opportunity to, and if it was a dream of mine, if one day I would be able to go to Blackbird Studios in Nashville, or NRG in LA, or Abbey Road or something, those well-established studios where they have a whole collection of microphones to choose from. Say, how would I choose the correct mic and find the correct setting, right, for the vocalist? Now, when I say setting it up, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to set an exactly. You don't have to set an exactly precise setting, because it will always change. When the musician comes, and when you do another line check and a level check, it will definitely change. So what I was referring to is to prepare, right? What I mean was just to prepare and make sure that everything is, the signal is flowing, you are getting signal from the mic, because you don't want to wait until they come, then you find out that, alamak, microphone no sound lah, tak ada bunyi lah, right? Do all these preliminary checks, test everything, check the headphones, make sure on the playback, right, for the artist, and the monitoring mix, it has a click track, make sure the click track is coming through. Get all those things prepared first lah, right? Now, when you talk about mic choice, this comes with experience, I would say. And there are many, um, it comes with experience. I mentioned before inside the knowing the characteristics of microphones. So, right, again, that's another video again on the direct access modules, right? When I talk about microphone basics, now microphones will have different frequency response. They have different characteristics. Some mics will tend to be a little bit bright. Some mics will be a little bit darker. Some mics will be more towards a neutral sound. So they all have different qualities and different characteristics. So with experience, you should be able to know how to match type of microphone with the type of sound source which you are hearing. So for instance, right, if if the singer has got a very very bright, maybe a female singer who's very very strident, where we call it, maybe she, a powerful soul singer, you might not want to get a microphone that sounds too bright, or too bright. See, because on a bright voice, and you have a bright microphone, bright plus bright, then it becomes super super bright and super harsh. Likewise, right, on the other hand, if someone's got a much more darker sounding voice, a very very warm sounding voice, a bright sounding mic may be able to complement it. Okay, so it's all about mixing and matching, the characteristics, the frequency response of the microphone with the sound source that you're recording, and it comes from experience lah. Okay, you could also, as I mentioned, right, I think in the video I mentioned, you could also go for a more neutral sounding microphone, maybe something that's a little more neutral. So in that case, it will give you a little bit more flexibility, because bear in mind, when the characteristics of microphones, right, once you record it, it's there already. If it's a bright sounding mic, and then you work with a singer that's very very sibilant, all the sibilants, all the s's, okay, it'll end up being like that, right? You'll end up very very spitty, very very bright and harsh sounding. So that's what I mean lah, by right, setting and finding the correct mic, and also the correct mic settings. Okay, cool. Now, if you are right, okay. Stephanie was also the questions. Stephanie is kind of reiterating a point there. The sampling part of the drummer for backup in case the sounds are needed layering. Yep, correct. Yep, yeah. It's actually quite a common practice, and I do it sometimes, not all the time, but it depends on what sort of project, and what sometimes it depends on what the producer wants. Okay, great. How are we doing for time? We are now just coming up over an hour. 15 minutes to go. 7 questions to answer. Yay, should be able to finish, I think. And oh, okay. Talking about neutral mics, it's actually the next question from Ben. Okay, this is question number 19. Save. And here it goes. Okay, it says here, let me take a quick sip as well. So question number 19 was modern mic design tends to lean towards neutral sound to work well with all types of voices. Are there any examples? Great, plenty of examples. Okay, now the examples that are used the most, okay, with the question where I personally I prefer. Now, one of the workhorses of my studio which I love to use is the audio. I'll just type it out first. Audio Technica 8040 is the Audio Technica 804050. This microphone, Audio Technica 804050. So this is a large diaphragm condenser. I really love this mic. This is a great, I think, a good example of a mid-range, affordable, still a little bit pricey for average person, but it's not as crazy expensive as a Neumann or Telefunken or something like that. So this is a fairly neutral sounding mic. So a neutral sounding mic here is going to work well. It's going to work well across a wide variety of sources. You know, because again, going back to your previous question, if I get a mic which is very bright sounding, and and if I encounter acoustic guitar, or again a singer who is very bright, who has a very bright voice, I find that it doesn't sound good because the mic doesn't flatter it overemphasizes all the high frequencies. So a neutral sounding mic will work across a wider range of sound sources. The 4050, right, in this instance, works great on everything. You can use it for drums, you can use it for overheads, you can stick it right in front of a screaming electric guitar cabinet, a lot of things, right? And its frequency response is fairly flat, it's very neutral, it's very accurate. The sound pressure level handling is also very high. You can stick it in front of loud sound sources with no issues, no worries whatsoever. Okay. Now the 4050 may be a little bit pricier. There is the slightly middle range. We have the 4033, right? 4033. You have the 4047, which is a different voice. It's a different voicing. But these are all the mics which are in the 4000 series family lah, right? So you have also the 80, 40, 33, 40, 47, right? The 4033, they all have the similar sound except for the 4047, right? But the 4033 also has similar characteristic. They're essentially the same except that they have less features lah. They have less built-in, and it's also not a multi-pattern mic. The 4050 is a multi-pattern, meaning you've got cardioid, you've got omni, and you've got a figure of 8. Now, and the most famous and the one which I really always recommend whenever I get the question of, hey, what mic should I get? What mic should I get? Right? As you can guess it, it's also in the Audio Technica family, okay? So, hey, shout out to Audio Technica, all right? You make great, amazing microphones. So these would be the microphones in the 2000 series. You have the Audio Technica 80 2020, 2035, right? 2050. So once again, these mics are also, they are very affordable. The 2020, if I'm not mistaken, if you retail, might be about 500 plus, but after discount, and all the discounts, everything, you can get it for like $300-400 sometimes. Okay, this is, I would say, this is the best budget microphone, no contest out there. Okay, no competition with any of the budget microphones out there, because this mic sounds as good as mics that cost 10 times as much. It's only like 400-500 ringgit, but it's comparable, right, with the microphones that can cost several thousand ringgit. So these are actually all, they have the same capsule. It's once again just having different features. 2020 is the entry level, the basic one. The 2035 comes in, if I'm not mistaken, with a pad switch and a high pass filter, whilst the 2050 is the multi-pattern. They all share the same sound. These are great investments, great value for money. because this would be mics that will you can keep inside your mic locker collection for a long time, for your entire career, if need be, right? Because they're simply good investments. These are just good microphones, okay? So Ben, if you are looking out, or anybody of you if you're looking out, I really highly recommend the looking for the first microphone. Just go and check out the Audio-Technica 2000 series. Okay, there's no other mic which I can recommend, right? For entry level. Okay, all right. So let's sidetrack a little bit. Stephanie's got a question here. One question about drum recording. If I were to record my bass drum without a proper kick drum mic, can I use a vocal mic instead? Will the mic be damaged? Okay. Now, the answer is yes, you can use a vocal mic. No problem at all, right? You can use a dynamic microphone, right? The mic is not going to be damaged at all. Dynamic microphones, by nature of their construction, they are more rugged. They are designed to withstand a lot more abuse, right? So not a problem at all. Okay, so no harms. Okay, right. Um, they may be a little bit different because the frequency response of a vocal mic is sculpted is geared more towards, obviously, towards vocals, towards the human voice, towards speech, towards singing, the singing voice. But it works. It can definitely work. You can definitely use it in a pinch. If you don't have a kick drum microphone, you don't have a dedicated kick drum mic, just stick a SM58 or equivalent microphone into it. Just EQ it a little bit, scoop out some of the lower mids, and yeah, it's a perfectly usable kick drum microphone, and the mic won't be damaged. In fact, even if you put a condenser microphone, right, a modern condenser nowadays, it's no issue. You can put a condenser mic and use it as a kick drum mic. Okay, I relate this story a lot of times, right? That I used to work in a studio called Synchro Sound in PJ. It's a huge studio. Imagine like a Hollywood, New York kind of a studio. We used to have that here in Malaysia back then, lah. So on some of the projects that we did, guess what I used for a kick drum mic? I used the Neumann U87. Neumann U87, that's like 13,000 ringgit microphone that in audio school and everywhere will always tell you, no, you cannot use it on super loud sources, you cannot use on kick drum, you will damage the microphone. No problem, man. That's what we use in Synchro Sound big studios. So being a condenser mic, wow, the really full frequency response, you get a very very airy with a lot of nice attack and top end from the kick drum. I do have to say that I think we did put a pop filter in front of it because sometimes in the kick, right, especially when we put it just inside the sound hole, there can be the air blast can sometimes cause the microphone to pop, but it would not damage it lah. Okay, right. So Stephanie answers like, right, yeah, okay, right. So no worries, just try whatever microphone works. Go out and experiment and see how it sounds. And wow, expensive. Yes, well, so those are the high-end microphones, so not an issue. I probably wouldn't risk a AKG C12 or Telefunken, but oh well, okay. Right, pop filter. Yep, okay, yes, correct. Cool. And again, maybe you would want to check out that video on the Direct Access 1.0, the module where I did drum recordings. Let's look for it and see here where it is. Where is it? There you go. Right, so this video over here, recording techniques, drums. All right, so this one. So go ahead and check it out. All right, where I give an explanation of how I mic up drums. I actually demonstrate how I record and mic drums. Okay, moving on. Let's go to the next question. So that's a great question, by the way, Stephanie. Okay, for those of you all who are watching, right, and you have questions, right, feel free, just pop it up in the comment section and I will answer them to the best of my abilities. So let me just copy this one over first. Oh, okay, all right. Let me edit and post up the next question from Ben. So, okay, these are kind of related questions. It's very cool, and that Ben kind of puts out his train of thought of what he wants to ask. So he asked here, what does tonal mean? Okay, example, matching the tonality of the mic with the voice. Okay, I explained it earlier, right? Different mics are different frequency response, a different sound, so you match it with the appropriate voice lah. And this mix is tonally balanced. So yeah, so um, tonally balanced here just means that the balance, the content, the tonal content of whatever the sound source is, or the mix that you are mixing, that you are working on, the song that you're working on, has got the right balance of the frequencies. You know, your low frequencies, your bass frequencies, your lower mid range, your upper mid range, your highs, your subs, so that in order to get a full listener experience, right, to have a music sound full, right, you want it to be tonally balanced. So that's basically what it is. Okay. All right. Okay. Today. Okay. So this one is a question that's related to, I think it's related to editing. Let's paste it and see. Okay, again, this is a little bit too long. Okay, let me just copy it over and edit it so that it's a bit shorter. Can it fit? Doesn't fit inside the 200 word limit. Okay, so right, first half first. Okay, right. This is related to editing. Okay, so question 21, Ben was asking. He's asked that, okay, that in editing drums we keep the crossfades. This is when you record two different takes of audio, two different clips you are trying to join together. You join them by doing a crossfade. Okay, all right. So we keep the crossfades as short as possible to keep the transient of the drums in the drum mixing context. Okay, isn't the transient very short and heard only at the start of the sound? Yeah, yes, okay. Now, this is again just a rule of thumb. Sometimes there may be a situation where you may want a longer crossfade. But when I'm editing drums, when I'm trying to piece together drums, right, especially when it's two pieces of audio, firstly, we keep the crossfades as short as possible and right before the transient. You do not want your crossfade to cross into the transient, you see, because what it does is they will, because the crossfade has a little bit of a fade in and fade out effect, right? It will cut into the transient, okay? So that is actually the reason why, okay? So the second part of the question actually says, how does it affect the transient? And I just explained why, okay? Because the crossfading, if you crossfade into the transient, the wave, you will see, okay. Again, once again, there is another video. You can go and check it out, all right? The topic is here, drum editing and drum sample replacement. This one, this particular video, right? This one can show you, right, because it's got even got screenshots here, screen capture, so you can see. I demonstrate what I do when it comes to drum recording. Okay, drum editing. Sorry. Excellent. Okay, so let's go on with. Hey, almost there. Question 22. Also related to drum editing and perfect, man. You can watch this. You can watch this video, which will explain everything for you. Okay, right. Okay, again, I think I have to shorten it because when it's too long, StreamYard doesn't. You can't view it. It only has 200. It's only got a 200 character. Okay, right. Let's just keep it like it this way, right? So question 22. So this is related to drum editing. When one of the drum tracks is slightly out of time, not the drum tracks, one of the elements. Excuse me. All right. So one of the elements, I move all the drum tracks together. So if only one track, or only one part, say the kick, right? Maybe the drummer played it a little bit early or a little bit late or something like that. Okay. The Now, generally, here's the thing, and I think I don't want to explain too long because the video which I have, right, the drum editing video here that I have here really explains it in full. So if you want to check out, you go and just check out this video. Okay. Now, the thing is that all the drum tracks, you got to remember, you have to move it together as a group. All right. General rule of thumb lah. The reason is because when you have multiple mics capturing it, if you only edit the kick drum and you move the kick drum track, what happens to the kick drum that's being picked up by the overheads? It's still out of time, you know. So whenever you edit drums, right, you always have to edit all as one group, right? Edit the group and you move them together as a group. Now, if I get your question right, Ben might be asking, what if it's only the kick drum that's out? Maybe the kick drum was slightly early. Now, how are you going to deal with that? Okay, now, here is where what we say, we learn the rules, we know the rules, so we don't break it, so we know how to bend it, okay? So we can bend the rules. Now, having said that, it is possible, but it is not very easy. It's not very tricky. There are some times where I get situations where the kick drum might be just a slightly out, but all I need to do is just to move it together. So there's ways, but you have to be very, very careful and clever about it. You can actually just edit the kick drum and try to move it as close as possible. You may have to do some high pass filtering as well on the rest of the tracks, so that you filter out the low end of the kick. There's no guarantee to it. There is no guarantee to how correct that it will sound. Sometimes you'll end up sounding worse. Sometimes it will end up sounding better, right? Your mileage may vary lah. So just try it. You'll never know. Okay. All right, here we go. And another question from Stephanie. Okay, Stephanie, you got a question here. I see your question, but can we reserve it for the end of this? Well, let me deal with all of Ben's questions first. Okay, so once you're done, I promise you I'll definitely get down to the question. Okay, now Ben also asks, this is also related to editing. So this is question 23. Okay, save, show. So if the audio part cut is silent, does it still need a crossfade? Right. Nope. Answer is no. If it's really, really a silent part, right, you don't need to crossfade it. Crossfading is only when you need to join two clips or two events of audio together. Now the question is though, how do you know it's really, really silent? Are you sure that it's silent or not? You know what I mean? Now, probably 99.9% of the time, if it's silent, you can just leave it there and you're not going to encounter issue lah. But there will always be that 0.1% situation chance that, hey, maybe there's some tiny, very, very soft sound there. Maybe a background noise which you don't realize. Could be sub frequencies that you don't hear. Subsonic frequency, subsonic rumble that you don't hear, and you don't realize it, and then you chop it. So you might end up with a digital click in that way lah. Okay, so in editing, I always say it's always a good habit to just do a top and tail. A lot of DAWs nowadays have what we call an auto fade setting. So they always will, whether or not you do a fade in or fade out, there will always be a short several milliseconds auto fade in, auto fade out to prevent all this kind of digital click. So you guys have it a lot easier, man, nowadays. Okay. In the past, we had to make sure everything was properly topped and tail. You had to do a little fade in, little fade out, make sure all our crossfades are all done properly. Nowadays is a lot more forgiving. Okay. So question 24. Okay, almost there. Let's go to number 24 and let's hide it. Paste, save. Right. 24. What is the definition of parameter? Example, parameters found in an EQ plugin. Okay. So parameters. Okay, here we go. Now, parameter is basically it means a value that can be measured, that can be quantified. So that's what a parameter is. In fact, what I'm looking actually right now is a page called a glossary the page. Okay, right. So a parameter, according to the glossary here at the sound on sound page, means this. Let's go with the comments. So a parameter, oops, let me type this in here, equals, in the chat. So if you look at a glossary, an audio glossary definition, this is what parameter means. So parameter is a variable value. So there is an actual value that can affect the aspect of a device's performance. For example, you talk about the EQ, right? In a parametric equalizer, in a parametric EQ, there are three parameters that you can control. You have the center frequency. So what is the frequency that the EQ affects, you see? So you can adjust that parameter. So there's a value there. So number two, you have the second parameter is the amount of boost or cut, right? Attenuation or gain, right? Whether it's plus or minus. So again, that's the value. You can boost how many dB you want. You can cut how many dB you want. So that is the second parameter. Okay. So the third parameter of a parametric EQ would be the bandwidth, right? There's a mathematical calculation. So the bandwidth means what is the width of the range of frequencies that's affected when the EQ is being boosted or cut. Whether do you have a narrow bandwidth or do you have a wide bandwidth? Once again, these are all actually all in the videos that I have. It's another video, I think, in one of the very early videos actually. Introduction to music hardware. That would be where is it? Okay, I think it's somewhere here. I think. Yeah, okay, right. Video number 11, module 9. Okay, introduction to music hardware. So that's where I describe and explain the um, parameters of an EQ. Okay, there's also later on down in the workshop where we go into compressors, limiters, reverbs, delays. So all of those have parameters as well. So it's an actual value that can be measured, that can be adjusted, that will affect okay, the performance or the sound of the particular, right? So again, that was a question. What's the definition of parameter? Okay, so let's hide this. Let's go. Hey, and last question. Yes, I managed to finish all of the 24 questions. Actually, I could have probably finished it last week, but because last week I got a question from Lucas, right, one who joined in. He had a very good question, right, on last week's regarding regarding independent bands. What are the areas that they should focus on? Because independent bands, when they do it themselves, DIY, they talk about having to do with everything themselves, from the recording, mixing, production. marketing and promotion and all of that, right? So I gave my answers and feedback on that. So that took a while. So that's why I could only finish 6 questions last week. So this week, well, we are breezing through. And this is the very, very last question, okay? Right, let's go it out. This is a long one. This is more of a tech support question, okay? So let me just, because this is a long one as well. I have to try and edit it and make it as brief as possible so that it fits into the window. Question 25. Okay. Okay, right. Okay, this is actually more of a technical support, more of a tech support question. You should contact the tech support of your keyboard company, right? Or go to the forums. Okay, so the last question from Ben. Okay, and it's right. All the questions are great. Okay, all the questions are awesome, and more than happy to answer them for you. So Ben was asking that I use my keyboard as a MIDI controller. Okay, so I'm assuming you have a keyboard, like an actual synth keyboard workstation, right? So uh, the second part actually says, "Are you connected to a printer cable to my computer and it works fine?" What kind of keyboard? I really got to ask Ben. What keyboard are you using? That you're using using a printer port, the DP25 kind of a printer port. Those must be very old, man. Now, are there any ways to connect them? Uh, the question here, he Ben was asking that should I connect it from my keyboard to a DI box, right? Then to audio interface and computer. So this is it depends on what you are using it for. Now, if you're using it as a MIDI controller, you are using it as a MIDI controller to control the sounds on board on your onboard VST instruments and your onboard sample libraries. If you are talking about needing to trigger the sounds and to capture the sounds that's coming from the onboard sounds of the keyboards, that is where you will need to actually feed the outputs of the keyboard into your audio interface. Now, I would say that you don't really need a DI, because most of the interfaces nowadays are capable of taking directly from the instrument output. So you can just take the output and plug it straight into your DI, right? Hopefully you got two channels so that you can get a left right, you can get a stereo. Now, whether or not to use a DI box, that is can be debated. In some situations, I find that using a good quality DI actually preserves the sound better. It actually sounds better if you go to a good quality DI, right? Instead of going through the so-called DI input of the interface. But it works just fine. Just plugging it straight in. Okay. Maybe this question, you would need to be a little bit more in depth and personal and look exactly what are you trying to achieve, what are you trying to set up. So, great question nonetheless. Okay, great question nonetheless, right? So I'm really really curious, Ben, as to what keyboard you are using, because using that kind of cable, a printer cable, that's very very old, very ancient. Okay, nowadays most keyboard controllers are all USB. Really, it's all USB based. It's all plug and play. You don't need to install anything, right? And you can get the very very basic affordable ones. I don't know, man. Ben, maybe you should think about getting a basic, maybe a 49 key keyboard controller. And I guess here goes. That's the end of all the 25 questions from Ben. 25 questions too late. Okay. Oh no, Facebook, don't copy strike me, okay? Cool. Excellent. And Adriano Max just gave a love as well. Thank you very much, Adriano. Right. Right. So gonna be here. We got another 20 minutes left. And before I forget, as promised, right? Stephanie Izzy's got one more question. So let's go into it. Right, let's answer this one. So Stephanie says, I have a PreSonus i2 interface, a condenser, and a dynamic mic. On the interface, there's only one phantom power buttons. Okay, great. Okay, since condenser mics will need the phantom power, but dynamic mics don't, will phantom power damage the dynamic mic in the long run? Oh, okay, great question. Okay, actually, I just saw this exact question on the forum, asked by somebody today, right? So he's asking the same question. It's not you, right? No, it was a guy who asked it. So, answer is no. It's not gonna damage it. It won't damage it. Okay, right? Nowadays, the microphones, the way that they build it, it's not going to. Is they are a lot more rugged, a little more resilient to these kind of issues already, right? So obviously, the interface has got two XLR mic inputs. Okay, all right, two mic inputs, and they have a global phantom power. Most of it is global phantom power, right? Because it's a lot costlier to install individual phantom power switches on all the inputs. It's easier to just have one single switch. So no problem. Okay, now having said that, in the olden days, okay, every time I start a sentence with that word, right, it makes me sound like an old uncle, right? So in the old days, right, uh, there is a there is a risk, right? In theory, there is a risk if, let's say, for example, you get a faulty mic cable or a bad connection somewhere in the wiring in the mic cable, right? Uh, there is there is technically a possibility that the current may short through the coil, the moving coil of the dynamic microphone, and damage it. But again, as I said earlier on, a lot of the modern mic designs, right, are actually very rugged and resilient to all these issues. Already, I do know again in theory that in theory, ribbon microphones, some of the older ribbon microphones, you cannot feed phantom power to it. But then again, Abbey Road Studios, again, if I'm not mistaken, to my knowledge, Abbey Road, the way that they wire up the entire studio, phantom power is on continuously one. It is continuously on one. So obviously, in a place like that, they have the phantom power on all the time, and they plug in all different types of mics, condensers, dynamics, expensive tube models, and whether there are ribbons and all that with no issues. I personally have not encountered or heard of anyone getting a mic damage because, a dynamic or otherwise because of phantom power. What you might get is that if you don't mute your outputs, you might get a pop on your speakers. So right, always good to either turn the volume down or mute the output channels before you plug in, or whenever you plug in or plug out something like. Always turn the volume. It's a good habit to do. Turn the volume control, turn the volume level down so that you don't pop. The pops might damage your speakers. That's the only thing. Or in the worst, give you a heart attack. It'll give you a good fright. Okay, right. So Stephanie will say, "Oh, not me, right? Yeah, I know it's definitely not you." And I see. So yeah, that hopefully that answers your question. No fear, you can use your dynamic and your condenser mic together at the same time simultaneously with phantom power on. No harm at all. Okay, all right. Let's see. Right. Yeah, Stephanie says, "Oh, I saw online. They say that ribbon mics are super sensitive, but oh, who is this? Ash Swan? Is this the name of a person? About this, use one for his kick drum. Yep. Okay. Ribbon mics, yes. Okay. Now, generally speaking, ribbon mics are sensitive, especially the older, more vintage ones, because what a ribbon mic actually is, it's actually a type of dynamic microphone where it literally has a very thin corrugated ribbon, right? Metal corrugated ribbon, right? That acts as the diaphragm. So that's very fragile. It can be very fragile to blasts of wind. So if you have a blast of wind, it can damage the ribbon. So that's why we say that ribbon mics are generally super sensitive. But again, technology has come a long way. Microphone engineering, mic designs have come a long way. Um, Ribbon microphones, especially the newer ones, are a lot more rugged, a lot more resilient already. So now, if I suspect that when you say in this situation, without knowing, without watching, without seeing, I won't be able to tell. But I suspect that this is not really the ribbon mic is not really shoved right inside the kick drum in front of the beater. This is probably at the sound hole or a little bit out just to capture the resonant hit. Am I right? I'm making an assumption over here. And in that case, it's not an issue lah, right? It's not an issue. Now, obviously, maybe if it's like super loud sound sources, a very, very, very loud sound source, maybe it might damage it. But unless you're talking about a very loud drummer, a snare drum, a super, super loud singer, vocalist, or a loud guitar cap or something like that. So yeah, so no issues lah. Okay, so Ash was so Stephanie says that, oh, it's a pro drum session is okay, cool. Yeah, ribbon mics are great, man. Ribbon microphones are fantastic. One of my favorite ribbon microphones that I use is the Beyerdynamic M160. I got an M160 and also got an M130. Those are lovely, man. Those are really, really lovely microphones. You see also in the drum recording drum technique video that I use it for hi-hats. And if I had extra, I wouldn't mind using it for overheads as well. Oh, all right. Okay. So, learn something today. Yay. I'm glad that you did. All right. So, I learned something too. As I always say, learning is always a two-way process. As much as I share whatever knowledge or information that I have with folks out there, at the same time, I'm also learning. When people ask me questions, it gets me thinking. It gets me thinking, and then I have to go and do some research, and it's a learning process as me as well. Okay. So it's always great. Learning is a lifelong. We will never know and be a total experts at masters at our craft. We can just always aim and strive to be better. Okay. Right. Cool. Thanks for the answers. No, thank you. Okay. And it's coming up to 12:50 already. Okay. This is like as I mentioned, this live stream was 1 hour late. Okay, almost 1 hour late lah. Okay, so technically 1 hour late. So usually I do this from 10 to 12 on the Friday nights. So um, since now it is 1:52, there's technically 8 minutes left. And usually when it comes to the last 10 minutes, I usually just sign off lah. Okay, but who knows? Maybe get some last minute questions. And Stephanie also says, right, it helps. Have a good rest, JD. Okay, right now, no rest for me after this. I'm going to work on a mix. Don't know whether you all can see or not. My mix computer here is here. I got a mix project all dialed up and ready to go. So there is no rest for the weird, no rest for the wicked, man. No rest for the weary. So more mixing work to do after this. Okay, so looks like, turns out, right, we have a winner. So because this viewer has been asking a lot of great questions and has been awesome and being interactive, right, during this live stream. Okay, Stephanie, I'm going to be sending you this CD. You have just won yourself this CD lah. Okay, do you have a CD player at home? Hopefully you're able to find one. Okay, so this is a album that I did. It's a side project. It's called Project EAR. It's a collective group of many of Southeast Asia's bands, including my band Pop Shavit. Some bands also from Thailand, from Philippines, Indonesia, and the world and other places. So this was our first album that we put out, and so right, I'll be sending this out to you, okay? And Stephanie says, "All right, good to be busy for now." Yes, I am. I am not complaining. Okay, I am thankful that there is work. And I'm being kept busy. Even though I hear there are some friends and some colleagues who are experiencing, especially musicians. They are finding a hard time. They have not gotten a lot of work going around for them since the whole start of MCO and all that. And wow, okay, yay, wow, I can play in the car, no worries. So Stephanie, here's what you do. I need you to do this, okay? Um, Drop me a message on the Studio 2105 page. Do a message there. Give me your name. I think you need your delivery address and your phone number, okay? And then I'll have someone, and I'll have it sent it out to you lah, okay? Real soon, okay? So leave your details in there, okay? Then I will be sending that price to you. So folks, for those of you who are watching this is a and hopefully it's an incentive for you to tune in again right next week. So hopefully next week I should have a MixStream episode. Let me try and sort it out, because not everyone wants to have not everyone wants to leak their song out in public beforehand. But some of them do. I've always check and work it out with the different artists lah. Okay, so thanks JD, thank you Stephanie, and thank you to every one of you who have watched this channel. Okay, right, so I'm gonna call it a night. All right, as usual, if you have hopefully you found this short, not really short lah, it's coming out to 2 hours. Hopefully you found this live stream and everything useful and informative. If you do, please do leave a like, all right? Either this, or if you're watching this during the YouTube replay later on, okay, please do leave a like. Share this with your friends, and if you haven't become a subscriber yet, go and subscribe to the YouTube channel, okay? youtube.com/studio2105. Now, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy. I wish you all the best, all right? Coming into 2021, right? Keep it up, keep it going, keep on recording, keep on mixing, keep on making music. Peace, love, and good night.